Welcome to the Moody's Tire and Auto Football Extra.
Where honesty and service comes first.
Serving Williamson County for over 70 years. Visit us at Moody's Tire for all your tire and automotive needs.
Stop by and see us at 1600 Columbia Avenue.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome into the final edition of the Moody's Football Extra for 2015. I'm Joe Williams, the sports editor of the Williamson Herald, along with Patton, the owner and master of MoPattonSports.com.
We like executive editor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all good. It's better than expert.
Season has ended after 15, 16 weeks. And let's, we got to turn a little bit serious here. We started here at Brentwood Academy. We end here on the Eagles' home field. And Maurice, they ended last week the way they wanted to end it. A wild finish, but they beat MBA and bring a state championship trophy back to Granny White Pike.
It was a wild finish. It was a wild game. I mean, 56-55 in double overtime. Defense optional, apparently. But just a great ball game. Saw a little bit of everything. Saw a big kickoff return by MBA's Ty Chandler. Saw a couple of two-point conversions, one to win the ball game. Saw some freewheeling by Jeremiah Oatsvall, the junior quarterback who was named offensive MVP of the game. And, again, nobody really ever stopped anybody. I think there were two punts in the game, one of which was waved off for a roughing penalty. So a lot of points. I think I heard that it set a state record or a state championship game record for points scored with 111. So again, defense optional, but I think when you come out on the winning end of it, you don't care if it's 3-0 or 56-55.
You say defense optional, but the crazy part was the defense gave up big plays. I mean, it was not like there were a bunch of drives. There were just 3 or 4 2-3-play drives where first half in the first 8 possessions, I think they scored. NBA scored 4 in their first 4. BA scored 4 in their first 4. It was almost like arena ball.
Yeah, it really did kind of have that arena ball feel to it where it's like, go ahead and score so we can get the ball back. And when you put the kind of athletes on the field that Brentwood Academy did, I think with a Cameron Johnson making plays, with a Prince Mamadou, with a Daniel Taylor who showed up huge for him, a junior who's coming back as well, and again, with a Jeremiah Oatsvall, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And I think MBA knew going in that stopping Brentwood Academy was going to be tough, and so it made it even more incumbent on them to score. And like you said, with Ty Chandler, with Glenn Coleman, who really made some plays for him at quarterback, they answered almost every Brentwood Academy score except right at the end.
Interesting to note, Brentwood Academy pretty well handled NBA during the regular season, and everybody looked at, whoever wins the first one doesn't normally win the second one in these kind of games, and history has really proven it out with those two. So the Eagles break that streak, get that monkey off that back, get ready to maybe go get another one.
Oh, absolutely. I think when you look at what they've got coming back, even though they lose the 3 guys that we've talked about all year, the Ryan Johnson, Bryce Matthews, and Brandon Adams, the 3 Southeastern Conference commitments, they've got a lot coming back. And now that they've broken through, like you said, this was their first state championship win since 2006, their first championship game appearance since 2008, and they may be going from a long dry spell to possibly back-to-back.
And we've seen them do that in their history. The ghost of Carlton Flat hangs over the place.
Well, he ain't dead, but yeah, I mean, we're on Carlton Flat Field, and talking to Cody White after the game, that was one of the first things he said.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see Coach Flat, but I know he and all those guys are really excited about us finally getting another one.
Getting over that hump. Final score in that one, BA beats MBA 56-55 in a wild ball game. Maurice, the 5A game was the only game where a team had a chance to finish the season perfect, undefeated. And boy, did Independence do that. Won the game exactly the way they've done it all year long. Score fast, score big, score early, and then sit back and let the defense take over.
I don't know if they necessarily sat back, but they scored a lot. They scored early, they scored often, and I just don't think Sevier County really got a chance to settle in. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. It was 28-0 at one point, and I don't think they expected that. Even when you watch film and you see Andrew Bunch and you see Nate Johnson and you see all those other receivers and you see Daniel Wright, sometimes you just don't realize how precise that offense is until you're faced with being out there and trying to stop it. And by then, it's too late.
Well, everybody, knows about knows about Nate Johnson. I talked to him after the game. He says, my job tonight, got double teamed, was just take those two guys out of the play and open it up for everybody else. And, and if that was his job, he deserves a bonus.
Yeah, he did it well.
Yes,
he did it well because, early on you're wondering when are they going to get him the ball, and they never tried to force it to him. I mean, he's clearly their best receiver, and he came into the game with 83 catches, 1,600-plus yards, 24 touchdowns. But they figured they would get to him at some point. I think their first 3 completions were to Pierre Watkins.
Yep.
But, Andrew really spread the ball around well. Like I said, they didn't try to force it to Nate. He wound up with 4 catches for 52 yards, 2 of those for touchdowns.
Sets a record.
Sets a state single-season touchdown record for a receiver with 26, so congratulations to him. But, he's far from the only thing they've got. Seth Huner made plays for him, even though they pronounced his name wrong all night long. Adam Swayze made plays, and great season for that kid who came in and played quarterback for 4.5 games and went 4-0 as a starter. So, a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and obviously a lot of talent on the defensive side as well. Hunter Dupree, the linebacker, named defensive MVP, had a fantastic interception down on the goal line to snuff out a Sevier County drive. So that defense stood up all night.
Recovered the fumble that got their last touchdown. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing after the game, he said, I wasn't going to play this year. I said, do what? He said, no, I lost a game of horse. I said, what? I got called into a game of horse, and if I lose, I play, and I lost. And he stopped and looked at me and said, I thank God every day I lost that game of horse.
Well, obviously, basketball's not his thing, huh?
Obviously. Maurice, the final game of the 2015 season, period, end of sentence. When this game was done, everything was done, and boy, did it get done. Ravenwood coming out 26-17 over the Mystic Maryville Rebels, and 44-game win streak snapped, avenged a 1-point loss last year. And, Will Hester, the head coach at Ravenwood, has said all year that his seniors have just taken a refuse-to-lose attitude, and that is exactly what they did.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think by playing Maryville last year and losing 35-34 in overtime, and more specifically by getting up 28-7 at one point in that ball game, I think it proved to Ravenwood as a program, I think it proved to those seniors that came back this year, we can play with these guys. And for Maryville, that might have been the worst thing that could have happened, other than the 4 turnovers.
Just say, characteristically, they do not make turnovers. Ravenwood forces 4, including 3 interceptions.
Absolutely. And, the sophomore quarterback, Dylan Hopkins, I think may have struggled a little bit on the big stage or with the big stage. Again, 3 interceptions. One that was a big-time play in anybody's ball yard. That interception that Nate Stoner had at the end of the game in the end zone. When Maryville is trying to come back, they're down 2 scores there. They really need a touchdown right there, and who knows what happens if they get that. But guy ran a post route, and Stoner opened his hips and ran with him and reached up and made a play. And that one may go down as one of the biggest plays in Ravenwood football history right there.
The crazy part about that, there was probably an 8 or a 10-yard cushion between them when the ball went in the air, and I was standing in that end zone, and I thought, he's beat, they're going to score.
What's funny is he thought the same thing.
He thought the same thing. And then all of a sudden he's closed this distance and just took the ball. I mean, it's not like he grabbed it out of the air. The receiver had it in his hands, and he took the ball away.
Desperation will make you do things.
Well.
But it was definitely a great play. Like I said, one of the best I've seen, certainly at the high school level.
One of the don't say strange, let me rephrase that. One of the most unique things that's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened before. When things were said and done, they announced as the offensive MVP of the game, the kicker, Cruz Holt, who hit 4 out of 5.
On Monday he was named Mr. Football Kicker of the Year, and I think it was Will was saying that's the toughest award to win because it's every kicker regardless of classification statewide. Cruz Holt is named the kicker of the year on Monday. On Saturday, he's named offensive MVP of the state championship game, which his team has won. Not a bad week for Mr. Holt, who did get offered by West Point here after that. So
I was going to say I'd be surprised if he didn't get a couple more after that one.
You'd like to think.
So Ravenwood gets a title, Independence gets a title, Brentwood Academy gets a title. That's 3 schools inside Williamson County who are holding in their hand a gold ball of a champion. And I don't think that's ever been done.
I don't think it's been done either, but shout out to Centennial.
Oh, my goodness.
Which was in the state semifinals. And having watched that team a couple of times, you'd like to think that if it had been them in Sevier County, things might have gone the same way.
Yeah.
And Ravenwood's only loss was to who?
Centennial.
So there you go.
You're
I mean,
exactly right.
it's been a heck of a year for Williamson County football.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. You often hear comments when Maryville comes down. They'll say, well, the state championship game in 6A was played in Murfreesboro because Rutherford County has been so strong. I got news for you. The 5A championship game was played a week earlier in Thompson Station. I'll say that.
A week earlier, or maybe even 2 weeks earlier with Hillsboro in that 28-20 game as well. But, I think, when you looked at that 5A West bracket, when you had Centennial, Hillsboro, Henry County, and Independence all over there in the semifinals, and I'm sorry, in the quarterfinals, you felt like your state champion was going to come out of that bunch. And kudos to Independence for getting past Hillsboro, beating Centennial for a second time this season, and then taking care of business in Cookeville.
Tell you what, it's been a heck of a year.
It really
has been a fun year, but all good things must come to an end.
That's
Partner,
what they say.
Thank you so much. It's been great to have you with us.
Hey, I appreciate you
You're
letting me
coming back
tag
next
along.
year. You just don't know it.
Oh, okay.
He just doesn't realize it. That's MoPattonSports.com, by the way. And you can follow him on Twitter at MoPatton_sports.
There you go. I appreciate
It
it.
only took me 14 weeks to get it right.
Better late than never.
You're right. All right. Well, I'm Joe Williamson for Charles Pulliam, who does all the work behind the camera. And if you haven't gone to the website, thewilliamsonherald.com, and seen some of his videos, you have definitely cheated yourself. And we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. Thank you to Moody's for sponsoring and helping us bring to you the Moody's Prep Football Extra.